Hello, Kim here from Keep Fit with Kim and Pilates in Pyjamas. Today's workout is a bum and thigh workout. All you need is your mat, or if you're working out on carpet, that should be fine too. And ideally a small towel or fleecy blanket that you can stick under your neck just to keep it comfortable. So without further ado, let's get down on the mat and get started. We're going to start working our right leg, so I'd like you to lie down on your left side. Line yourself up with the edge of the mat. So I'm right at the back of my mat, arm out straight, hips stacked, feet stacked, extending that foot away. And I'm going to stick my towel or blanket underneath my neck to keep it nice and relaxed. Now I'd like you to try and keep looking forward, so I hope you've got your device positioned in a suitable position. If that's really uncomfortable on your arm, then bring your arm in. Make sure your upper body's comfortable, your hips are stacked. Now we're going to bring the legs forward to 45 degrees. So those that are used to working out with me, this is a different workout, different position. Now what I'm going to ask you to do next is first of all check that those heels are aligned, that your bottom is still in line with the back of your mat. Take the hand in front, and I'm going to ask you now to open up from the hip, so you're going to twist the whole leg. So it's not just the foot, it's not at the knee, it's at the hip, so that the ankles are together. And we're going to lift. We're going to flex up, point down. Flex up and point down. Breathing out as you lift, breathing in. Really stretch that leg away. Breathing out as you lift, in as you lower. Engaging that core, pulling the belly button back towards the spine. Beautiful. Flex up, point down, keeping that leg turned out. Flex up, point down. Flex up, point down. Do two more if you can. Obviously, if this is too much, then rest. You can join back in or just wait for the next exercise. And relax. Now let's straighten that leg back up so the seam of your trousers is pointing towards the ceiling. Watch that those heels are still in alignment, that you haven't slipped back. So we're going to lift the leg up about 12 inches from the ground, and keeping that leg with the seam towards the sky, you're going to do small circles forward, so the foot's soft. Let's take it back in the other direction. Well done. So you're really trying to keep your upper body as still as possible. So engaging the core, keep breathing throughout. Well done. Let's give that a rest for a moment. Bring the leg forward. Give it a little bit of a stretch. Rub it if you want to. Now we're going to work the bottom leg. So if you're comfortable in that position, that's fine. You need to be able to lift and lower that bottom leg. So watch when you do this that you're not lifting the back of the leg, the heel up. I want the inner thigh lifting towards the sky. So keeping the foot flat, lift and lower. Now some of you might find you're more comfortable with the foot up in this position. It's got to be whatever's comfortable for you. Trying to keep that upper body relaxed. Engaging the core, keep breathing. Breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Well done. Lift and lower. Couple more if you can. Foot's parallel to the floor. Last one. Okay, and rest. Going to take the top leg back in alignment with the other one. So again, watch you're not sinking back down into the mat. Lift the waist away from the floor, heels in alignment. This time you're going to keep the foot soft and you're going to lift the leg up and you're going to take it as far forward as you can. Might not be as far as me, and then you're going to take it back in line with the body behind. So lift and forward, lift and back. In line, take it forward. So you might find you're only just going a small way, but if you can, take it back. Now keep breathing. As you take the leg back, be really aware that you're controlling the core and that you're not allowing the back to arch. Try and keep that waist dropping into the mat. Really lengthen that leg away from the body. A couple more if you can. If you need to rest, that's fine too. And lift and lower. And bringing that leg in front. Okay, we're going to come up to sitting. Take your mat over to your towel, should I say, over to the other side. So you're ready. We're going to come up to sitting. Let's give that hip a little bit of a stretch. So same leg that you work, your right leg's going to come across the top. And you're going to use your left arm to just pull and stretch that leg. Now, those of you that are, so hug it in. You can hug it in, you can take it off the floor if you want, but hug it in and feel that stretch. If you're bendy enough, you can drop the other leg under and use that knee as well as a stay to keep that leg in position. And you're going to get a lovely stretch through the hip. Okay. We're going to come onto the other side, so you're going to lie down on your right side. So once again, start off lined up with your mat. So heels, bottom, and arm if it's comfortable, if your arm will go above your head. Take the towel underneath. If you're more comfortable with your hand here, that's fine too. And your legs are going to come forward at about 45 degrees. Watch that you've not got that heel down. Relax, so you're going to lift the waist away from the floor, extend that foot so that they are stacked, hips, feet, knees. Take the weight on the hand in front. And you're going to turn out from the hip and we're going to flex up, point down, flex up and point down. Well done. So really be aware of what's going on. Engage the core muscles. Keep breathing. Think about your pelvic floor. Breathing out as you lift, in as you lower. Really trying to control the rest of the body so that it is only the leg moving from the hip and that your core and your spine are all staying as still as possible. 2 more if you can. And down, up and down. So those heels should still be together. Now let's twist that leg back. So now the seam of the trousers is lined up with the ceiling. And you're going to lift the leg about 12 inches off the floor and circle forward. Now here, really need to engage the core and keep breathing. You might not manage many of these. If you know you're going to struggle, change direction now. Do a few in the other direction. The rest of us will change direction now. So if you change direction too soon, you can always go back, change direction a couple more times, keeping that leg up and down. Let's give that a rest for a moment, bringing that leg forward. So again, you have a choice. You can either keep the leg in this position, or if it's comfortable for you, bring it up in front. My preference is lower down. And we're going to work the bottom leg. Now really watch here again that you're keeping that inner thigh towards the sky or the ceiling and the foot parallel to the floor. And we're going to lift and lower. Just lift and lower. So working that inner thigh. Couple more. I was going to say couple more for me, but it's a couple more for you. Toning those inner thighs. And we're going to go back and work the top leg again. So make sure you're back in position, that you haven't sunk down into the mat. Check your posture, engage your core. Your back and bottom and arm should still be in line with the back of your mat. feet 45 degrees, knees, hips, ankles stacked. And you're going to lift and take it forward. Lift and behind. So really be aware of what's going on at the waist. Are you keeping your spine in neutral? Or as you go back, are you arching it and sinking? If you are, make it smaller. It might be that this is as far as you can go, but if you're able to, take it all the way back. Lift, lift, behind. Take it at your level. And you're trying to keep the seam of the trousers, assuming you've got a seam on the side, parallel with the ceiling or the sky if you're outdoors. And you're trying to have minimal movement in the back or spine. You'll probably feel some, but we want to keep it to a minimum. Couple more if you can. Lift, forward, lift, back, lift, and give that a stretch. And we're going to come up to sitting. You don't need your towel again unless you're really inflexible, in which case you might want to sit on it shortly. So keep it nearby. Okay, taking that leg across. So it's your left leg across the right, and you're just going to hug it in. If you prefer to, you can lift it off the ground and hug it. I want you to stretch that muscle you've just worked and hug that across. Again, those that are more flexible might want to fold the other leg under, but that's optional. In class, quite often I turn my head. In this case, we really are only looking at stretching the hip muscle. Well done. From here, we're going to come down onto our backs. Now, if you would like to put a small block or towel under your head, you can. Ideally, no more than 1 inch. In an ideal world, we want to avoid too much under our heads, as it encourages poor posture, putting the neck into that forward position. We want to relax it back. So let's lie back down onto the mat. Think of elongating the neck, opening across the back. Start off with the feet and knees together, and we're going to toes out, heels out until the feet are hip width apart. Watch that you're not letting your knees drop in or out, and bring the feet in a little closer to the buttocks, taking the hands out to the side. And I'm going to get you to roll up 1 vertebrae at a time. Into bridge, and then roll back down. Coming back into neutral spine. Breathing out as you roll the back into the mat. Squeeze the buttocks as you lift, and coming back down. 2 more like that, and then I'm going to change it over. We're going to move a little bit faster. And release it down. Last one like this. Try and avoid pushing down into the hands. They should be relaxed by the side of the body. And release. Okay. This time, keeping the spine in neutral, you're going to squeeze the buttocks and lift and lower. And squeeze and lower. And squeeze and lower. And squeeze. Try and keep the feet relaxed. 2 more. Squeeze. Okay, now you're going to bring the leg in. Now 2 choices here. If you can get the leg straight up, then you can. If not, keep it to this position. I'm going to take the leg straight to show you the harder version first. We're going to lift here. We're going to take the leg down and lift. And you're trying to keep the pelvis as still as possible. Now, if that's too much for you, you can bring the knee in and out, in, and you don't have to take it all the way out. You're trying to keep the pelvis as still as you possibly can. If you start to cramp in the other hip, then release. If that's too much on your back, then by all means support with your hands. Bring it in, take it down, and roll back down. You might want to hug in and just stretch through that other hamstring. If it's a little bit tight in the back of the leg, change sides. So again, bringing the leg either into here or straight up. You're going to lift up, and you're either going to lift and lower. So this is really working the other side. If that's too much, just take it here, a smaller movement. If you need to support your back, do. We're trying to keep the pelvis level at all times and really control. Keep breathing, keeping that foot soft, lift and lower, and taking that back down. Let's give that hamstring a little bit of a stretch. It's quite hard work on the hamstrings. In theory, we should be working the buttocks, but quite often the hamstrings are going to work as well when you do that. So let's just give it a stretch to be sure. We're going to finish off with a nice stretch for both our inner thighs, and it's going to help the hamstrings slightly as well. Now, if you struggle with very, very tight hamstrings, so that's the back of the thighs, sit on your blanket or towel. I don't, so I'm going to leave mine to one side. Take the legs as wide as is comfortable and sit upright. Now, if you're struggling and you find your back is dropping backwards, please do sit on a towel or block. And again, if you need to, that's fine too, as long as you're feeling that stretch on the inner thighs. Try and not let the feet drop out. Keep the knees and feet pointing towards the ceiling. Those of you that can, sit tall and start to fold forward until you feel this stretch on the inner thigh. So again, for some of you, you're going to be here. Some people are going to be quite a long way forward, but make it folding from the waist. It isn't about rounding down. I don't want this movement. I want nice neutral spine, sitting upright and stretching forward. Bringing the soles of the feet together, opening out. So if you're comfortable to, allow those feet, the top of the feet, to open up away and let those knees go further down. Some of you again might be up here and that just isn't going to happen. Taking the elbows against the knees. You're not going to push down very hard with the arms, just as far as is comfortable without too much pressure. And then press the knees into the elbows, just gently. Hold it for a moment and release. And just let those legs drop down. Let's try that once more. Elbows rest against the fleshy part of the legs. And you're just going to gently push up against the elbows, about 20% of maximum, so it's not a really hard push, just a small push up, and release, and just relax down, just shaking the legs out. Well done. That's all for today's workout. I'll be back next Tuesday with another Pilates workout, but you can catch me with my other workouts every day of the week. See you soon. Bye for now.